Alright, so good morning everyone. Okay, so in this video lecture, we are going to discuss another process in cellular respiration, which is ETC or Electron Transport Chain. Okay, so but first, let me ask you this question. How long can you hold your breath? Ay, kaya mga anak, gaano ba katagal ninyo kayang pigilan ng inyong paghinga? Ayan. So, did you know that according to research, the longest instance of someone holding their breath without inhaling pure oxygen beforehand is 11 minutes and 34 seconds. However, most people can only safely hold their breath for 1 to 2 minutes. So the amount of time you can only safely hold, the amount of time you can safely and comfortably hold your breath depends on your specific body and genetics. Ano po? So we breathe with the help of oxygen. And definitely, without oxygen, running inside your body, you will definitely not survive. So oxygen is one of the ingredients to live. And that oxygen is part of this important process, which is cellular respiration. And so let's go back in some of the important highlights of our previous discussions. So glucose can undergo glycolysis to become pyruvate. Then this pyruvate is being used in the citric acid cycle, or commonly known as Krebs cycle, and the pyruvate is being combined in acetyl-CoA and undergo process to produce and generate NADH and FADH2. So this NADH and FADH2 will undergo to an oxidative phosphorylation, or commonly known as electron transport chain, to generate a massive amount of ATP. And so what is the goal of electron transport chain? So it is to couple energy stored in electron acceptors to a proton gradient that drives ATP synthesis. Okay, so electron transport chain basically happens in mitochondria. Ano po, so yung makikita ninyo anak sa picture na nasa inyong screen, that is an illustration of the mitochondria. And did you know that mitochondria has 3 major divisions? So what is inside the mitochondria? Yung nakikita niyo yung parang intestine, ayan, sa loob, that is what you called the mitochondrial matrix. Ano po, or matrix. So the line that divide the mitochondrial matrix and the intermembrane space, that is the inner mitochondrial membrane. So along the inner mitochondrial membrane, we have different series of complexes. So yung nakikita ninyong mga gradients na yun, mga anak, yan. So yan ay naka-embedded or nakalagay mismo sa inner mitochondrial membrane ng mitochondria. Ano po? So this complexes is numbered from 1 to 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, then this one is the 5th one. Itong ATP synthase nakikita niyo dito. Ano po? Ayan. So we also have 2 important molecules present here. The coenzyme Q and the cytochrome C. So in all this process, it is divided into two major processes. So the electron transport chain and the chemiosmosis. So these two major processes, when it is combined, that is called the oxidative phosphorylation. Ano po? So now let's discuss the movement of energy in protons in ATC and how it generates and produce a massive amount of ATP. Ayan. So, hydrogen ions are automatically present here in the mitochondrial matrix. Ayan. So, I told you that NADH and FADH2 are being used in ATC. Ano po? So, along comes the NADH. Yan. So, this one. NADH give off its energy and release electron. So, pag nag-give off ng energy or electron ang NADH, it will become NAD+. Ano po? Ayan. So, the NADH donates its electron to complex 1. Then, when the electron enters complex 1 will become supercharged. So, pumasok na po yung electron na galing sa NADH doon sa ating first complex or complex 1. Okay, so that's why it has, sabi ko kanina, it will become supercharged because of the electron present now here in complex 1. That's why it has the energy to pump the electron or the protons from the mitochondrial matrix into intermembrane space. Okay, so in this process, the hydrogen ions in the intermembrane surface will increase. So, because of the electron that is present here in complex 1 na galing kay NADH, so ang complex 1 po ay meron ng power na mapump ang mga protons or hydrogen ions na present dito sa mitochondrial membranes na dadalhin naman niya ngayon sa labas or sa intermembrane space. Ayan. So, at this point, the complex 1 will pass the electron to coenzyme Q. So, here. And then, the FADH, ayan. So, here comes the FADH2 mga anak. So, the FADH2 approaches complex 2. This one approaches the complex 2 and the electron in complex 2 will move to coenzyme Q again. So, yung electron na galing dito kanina sa complex 1 na napapunta dito sa coenzyme Q. So, this is the coenzyme Q mga anak ay nasa taas ng complex 2. Yan. So, yung first electron na galing sa complex 1, nag-sit in muna siya dito sa coenzyme Q at inintay niya yung electron na manggagaling pa sa complex 2 na galing sa FADH2. Ano po? So, now, yung electron na galing sa complex 2 will now move on or move forward to coenzyme QA. Ano po? Yan. So, just like NADH, FADH2 give off its electron and turns to FAD. Sabi ko sa inyo kanina, yung pag nag-give off ng energy or electron ng FADH2, it will become FAD. So, saan nakapunta yung electron na galing dito sa FADH2? So basically, it will move forward to complex 2. And the electron from complex 2 ay pupunta naman siya ngayon sa coenzyme Q. Nakasama na ngayon ng ating electron na galing kanina sa complex 1. Ano po? So, meron na tayong dalawang electron na present ito sa coenzyme Q. Ano po? Ayan. So, now the electrons in coenzyme Q will now transfer in complex 3. Yan. So, it will become supercharged again. That's why it can able to pump another hydrogen ions or protons here from mitochondrial matrix down to the intermembrane space. Ano po? So, katulad kanina sa ating complex 1. Ayan. So, ano mangyayari ngayon sa amount ng hydrogen ions dito sa intermembrane space? So, automatically, it will increase again. Ano po? So, at this point, the complex 3 will pass the electron to cytochrome C. So, yung electrons na galing dito sa complex 3 ay mapapapunta na ngayon in this gradient, which is called the cytochrome C. Ayan. So, cytochrome C pass the electron to complex 4. And it will become supercharged again. So now, complex 4 has enough energy to pump another hydrogen ions or protons into intermembrane space. So in this case, the amount of hydrogen ions in the mitochondrial matrix will decrease. So now, the electron will transfer to the final electron acceptor, which is the oxygen. Yan. Okay. So, this oxygen will split into oxygen ions, and the protons is being added, creating two water molecules. So at this point, we formed a massive hydrogen ions in intermembrane space and fewer protons in the mitochondrial matrix. So ATP synthase will now comes into play. Ayan, so di na napapasok ngayon ang last gradient na ito, which is the ATP synthase. Ayan, so ATP synthase will generate a massive amount of ATP. So along comes the molecule ADP. In order for ADP to become ATP, it should it needs an energy source or input. Ano po? So at this point, the protons or the hydrogen ions will pass this gradient. So bababa ngayon yung mga hydrogen ions and protons na nasa intermembrane space, mga anak. Ayan. So the protons or the hydrogen ions will pass in the gradient from intermembrane surface back to the mitochondrial matrix with the help of ATP synthase. So now, the hydrogen ions will be combined to ADP. Ayan. To ADP to produce ATP molecules until the process starts again and more ATP molecules will produce. Ayan. So, okay. Alright, so you should also take note the 4 electron inhibitors of each complexes. So in complex 1, mga anak, we have what you call the rotenone. Then in complex 3, we have the antimycin. Then complex 4, we have the cyanide and carbon monoxide. Then, in ATP synthase, here, we have the oligomycin. So, again, that is their individual electron inhibitors. That's why madaling nagmo-move ang electrons galing sa mga um, products which are NADH and FADH2, products ng citric acid na ginamit ngayon sa ATC. Ano po? Yan. Okay, so, ayan. Okay, so for your output mga anak, you are going to illustrate the whole cellular respiration. Respiration starts with the glycolysis up to ETC. Ano po, or oxidative phosphorylation. So you can use this copy or this illustration and do this in a short bond paper. Don't forget to write a description at the back of your bond paper about the whole cellular respiration. And okay, so thank you for listening and see you all in our next video lecture. Thank you so much.